People stand up. Yeah, so you can really, get into it because it's just really wonderful. So it's time for our lesson this morning. I'm giving the lesson to me right now. Um, Be like the bird who, landing on limb too slight, feels it give way, yet sings, knowing she has wings. Well, that is the poem that I learned by Victor Hugo. I learned it when I was about 10 years old, and for some reason, it just always stuck with me. And I had learned a whole bunch of poems, mostly just to impress my sister's friends. But this one was really special because on some level, even in my child mind, I knew that there was some truth in there that I was really yearning for. I wanted to be like the bird, to be able to trust that I would sprout some invisible wings when that metaphorical branch in my life might start to give way, that I would feel safe. It seemed odd that, the bird doesn't freak out, doesn't flap its wing wildly or even begin to panic. And amazingly enough, when the branch starts to give way, she sings. She sings because she knows she always has a safety net. And I think that's why I love this poem, because on some level, I, especially as a child, really was yearning for some sense of safety and to know that no matter what happened, everything was going to be okay. And about a month ago, the poem floated back into my mind, and it just wouldn't go. And I thought, okay, this means that it's time for me to give some thought to this. So I began the adventure of looking for the message that it had for me. And it has been quite an adventure trying to figure out how to be like that bird, how to feel safe, and how to find my wings. And that's what I want to share with you this morning. And looking back, I thought about the poem when we were in Costa Rica, because every evening when the sun would go down, the howler monkeys would start to make their nightly return back to their homes, and they would traverse this invisible highway way up in the trees. And they had their little babies with them, and they were just so adorable, and we would watch them just nimbly go from branch to branch, and without any fear, with a real sense of abandonment. And they didn't have wings. So why were they so confident and fearless? Well, I learned that howler monkeys, when they land on a limb too slight, they have a couple of different options. They are highly arboreal, which means they've adapted to live in the trees. And also, they have a prehensile tail, like a fifth limb, along with really great grabbing strength, so that when they feel something start to give way, they simply grab another branch or use their tail to anchor themselves. And in most cases, they recover quite quickly. And if the limb breaks, they simply grab a lower branch. So while Victor Hugo's bird sings and flies, the howler monkey likely grabs, swings, or adapts. Perhaps that could be a strategy. As I thought about this, I remembered a term that Dr. Carolyn used in one of our classes many, many years ago. And she asked us what our hold card was, HOLD. And by a hold card, she was referring to some personal resource, some belief, some strategy that you had whenever a situation came up that you could pull out of your pocket and use. And so the bird's hold card is their wings, and the monkey's hold card is their ability to adapt and be agile. So what is my whole card? My secret power to feeling safe, my get out of jail free card. Well, I'll tell you, for a long time, it was my husband, Roger. And that was the one that Carolyn busted me on. And he made his transition 12 years ago. And so it's been a real journey without having that hold card that I could always rely on. Now, years later, I know what Dr. Carolyn wanted our hold card to be. She wanted it to be our trust in God. Well, that was not what the class members said. The answers that they gave were very different from some who had learned to identify as a victim and could justify why they didn't have a hold card altogether. There were others who used addiction, drugs, any other kind of distraction. And there were still others who simply avoided flying or climbing branches at all. They just avoided all the risks in life. So what is your hold card? Could the bird be a metaphor reminding us that we can surrender to spirit, to let go and trust? And the monkey be telling us we can surrender to the moment, to stay present, be nimble, and adapt? It seems they both know how to do this automatically, so why, oh why, can't I? How can we stay present, stay nimble, and adapt? How can we move beyond that automatic reflex that when the minute you start to feel something give way, you go into panic mode? Can we learn to let go and simply trust? Can we remember to sing no matter what shows up? Well, I think we can. And I want to share something with you that I saw when I was a kid, and it has excited me as much as the poetry. My dad was stationed at the Pentagon, and occasionally the family would all go to the Smithsonian Institute. And I'll tell you, that place was amazing, especially for a preteen kid, with all these huge buildings that were just educational and research centers, and they had things in jars you wouldn't believe. They had just it was just a fabulous experience. But the one that stuck with me the most was in the Museum of American History. And they had a mathematical art display. I don't know why, that's just I love mathematical art. Anyway, there in this building, hanging from this huge ceiling, and I'm making this up because I don't remember, but it was big to a little kid. It was like 100 feet long, and it was beautifully polished stainless steel Mobius strip. Well, I just stared at that thing, and it just mesmerized me just so deeply that that's part of what I want to share with you. Now, interestingly, I thought everybody knew what a Mobius strip was, and then I started asking my friends, and only one person, my son-in-law, he knew what a Mobius strip was. So, does anybody here know what it is? Let's see. Okay, well, good. Well, the rest of you are in for a treat. You get to be excited. Now, this is one I made for you. You see up here on the stage, I can't leave the mic, so I can't get over there. But now you have to picture that thing not hanging. The engineering for me to try to figure out how to hang it from here after our big party last night was beyond what I wanted to try to tangle. My engineering skills are duct tape and baling wire. And anyway, so the Mobius strip it was not invented, but it was discovered, whatever. August Ferdinand Mobius, who was a German theoretical astronomer and a mathematician, he defined the Mobius strip in 1858. Now, I want to demonstrate it for you, but it's too hard to go over there. So I'm going to demonstrate it to you with this. Okay, so this was a piece of poster paper that I simply joined together. So you see that has two sides. Now, normally, when we see two sides of anything, we think of duality. Good on one side, bad on the other, rich on one side, poor on the other. So that's normally how and you all perceive this as two separate sides. Now, to make a Mobius strip, you simply take it, you do a 180-degree turn, and then you join the ends, and now you have a Mobius strip. Okay? Now, this is the cool thing, and I practice this really hard. So if you take a pen and you go follow along the Mobius strip, which I will try to demonstrate, you will find that you never take your pen off of the paper, okay? Now, if I have to, it's only because of the angle, but you don't need to. So you just simply follow along the Mobius strip. Sorry about this, you guys. And you end up, hold on, I'm not taking this off. I'm right back where I was. Okay? So what you find is that what appeared to have two sides is just one continuous loop. Thank you, thank you. So there is not this side and that side anymore. It's just one continuous loop. So, when life seems split between good and bad, success and failure, God and me, the deeper truth is that there is only unity. There's just one continuous flow of energy, regardless of how you may be judging it. What feels like chaos may just be a part of the strip that you don't see the connection to yet. So the Mobius strip teaches us, number one, that what appears as two sides is really only one. Oh, there's more. And it teaches us that we're always on the path. Even when it doesn't feel like it, we're never off course. We just can't see the full twist yet. Notice that it's one continuous path because there is no beginning and no end. In fact, it is an infinity symbol. Okay? A Mobius strip loops eternally. You can't find a clear start or finish. It just is. Life, spirit, your journey, it's not linear. Even when something ends, something else begins immediately. There are no gaps. Loss transforms into growth. Confusion transforms into clarity. Every moment flows into the next in a design that is far greater than our understanding. So the Mobius strip teaches us that what looks like endings is just a part of a larger wholeness. We're always held in the loop of life. There is no loss, there is no failure, because everything is leading to the next thing. So, number two, the Mobius strip teaches us there's no beginning and no end. And thirdly, the Mobius strip feels like two surfaces. That it feels like it has two sides, but it's your perception that is misleading. Likewise, along with duality, we often perceive separation from love, disconnection from purpose, fear of the unknown, or, unstable branches. But just like the strip, what we perceive as separation is actually just one continuous flow, one moment, one presence. The Moebius strip teaches us there is unity beneath perception. There's more going on than what you can see. You're always connected, even when it doesn't feel like it. The strip is fascinating to me because for some reason it is just, I guess, that deeply reassuring metaphor that everything already is okay. I'm just stuck in a false perception. When we panic too early in our journey and forget that every part is something so much greater, remember that story of the Chinese farmer. So, this is how you can use the Moebius strip in your daily life. When you land on limb too slight and feel afraid, we're going to repeat 4 affirmations. And by the way, Crystal was great. She printed these out for me. And if anybody wants them, it has the Moebius strip as a path to trust. And it has the 3 points. And it has the 4 affirmations we're going to say right now. So if you want one, I have it up here. So I'd like you to repeat after me. I may not see the full path right now.
I may not see the full path right now.
But I trust it's one whole loop.
But I trust it's one whole loop.
What looks like a dead end
What looks like a dead end
may just be a turn I can't see yet.
may just be a turn I can't see yet.
I am still on the path,
I am still on the path,
even when it feels like I'm not.
even when it feels like I'm not.
And thank you, and thank you, Dr. Carolyn. God's source is my hold card.
God's source is my hold card.
I am always safe.
I am always safe.
You're always held in that loop. There's nowhere you can go that you're not held within the flow of life. And that's why, like the bird or the monkey, no matter where you land, you understand you're always held in that flow. The way to stay present, to stay nimble and adapt, to let go and trust, is to remember as often as possible to abide in the eternal truth of what really is, not in the day-to-day conditions that come and go. To know that there's a power for good in the universe greater than you are, you can use it, and it's always here for you. And I think we'll say that one too. There is a power for good in the universe. Power for good in the universe. Greater than I am. I can use it. And it's always for me. And you know, I love this metaphor. I think I've said it before. I learned it in Scott Wyman's class. And he told us that, you know, while we're working so hard, you know, working up a sweat with our little spoon, trying so hard to dig the tunnel to the truth on the other side, not knowing that on the other side, Source has a bulldozer trying to reach you. Very reassuring. So in closing, I want to tell you this story I heard on the internet, and I actually transposed it because there was no words. So here's the story that might help you remember that you're always held in that flow. This is the story of a mother's womb that has 2 babies in it. So one turns to the other and says, "Do you believe in delivery?" The other replies, "Why, of course, there has to be something after delivery. Maybe we're here to prepare ourselves for what is to come next." "Nonsense," says the first. "There is no life after delivery." "What kind of life would that be?" "I don't know," said the second, "but there'll be more light than here. Maybe we'll walk with our legs and eat with our mouths. Maybe we'll have the senses we can't understand now." The first goes, "That's impossible. Walking is impossible, and eating with our mouths, that's absurd. The umbilical cord is what scientifically supplies nutrition and all that we need, but it's far too short. Life after delivery is to be logically excluded. And the second one says, what if it's just different than it is here? Maybe we don't need a physical cord anymore. To which the first one says, okay, if there's life after delivery, then tell me why no one has come back from there. Delivery is the end of life, and after delivery is nothing but darkness and silence and oblivion and takes us nowhere. The second one says, but certainly we'll meet Mother and she'll take care of us. And the first says, Mother? You actually believe in Mother? If Mother exists, where is she now? And the second one responds, she's all around us. We are of her, with her. It is in her that we live and have our being. Without her, this world would not and could not exist. And the first says, I don't see her. It's only logical she's not here. To which the second one replies, sometimes when I'm in silence and I really listen, I can perceive her presence. I can even hear her loving voice calling down from above. You just need to be very still, and then you'll know she's here. Be still and know. When you know she's here, no matter where you land, you realize you're always held in that flow of life and on such an amazing journey. And when you land on limb too slight and you feel it give way, you will sing because you already have wings. Namaste.